I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we bring you the heartfelt and deeply inspiring story of James W. Pope, author of a compelling book. It is called Post-Hole Digger. This powerful memoir shares the journey of a young boy who became an instant adult at age 15, taking on family responsibilities after losing his father. It's a raw, moving tale of resilience, family, and the courage to rise above life's challenges. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Inks and Bindings for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Jim, great to see you here today on Spotlight. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
This is quite a story. You did become an instant adult, an instant man at age 15 when you lost your dad. Tell us why you decided to share the story with the public.
Well, okay, first off, okay, when I became an instant adult at age 15, uh, I took my dad's job supporting my mother and two sisters. I'm in the ninth grade.
Amazing.
Now I was reflecting on my life, and I thought I had a lot of interesting things happen at a young age. Now, I was born at home on the family farm in Avoca, Iowa, and living on a farm, life was in your face all the time. You're watching, you're observing what's going on around you. So you grow up fast in a lot of different ways. So I don't know where you want to take this or what.
Well, so you're 15 years old, your dad dies, you take over his job. Tell us a little bit about the job you had to do and what you had to do to support your family.
Well, Dad was working as a hired man on a farm in the sixth when I was in the sixth grade. He had a heart attack, so he had to find lighter work. So the town of Macedonia, Iowa, would look. Their janitor wanted to retire, so Dad applied for the job. And I think the reason he got the job, even though we were farmers and we're just 2 years into having electricity, because there were six of us in the family, so they saw a big workforce. But so now we moved in there at the start of my seventh grade into the school. We lived in the janitor's quarters under the schoolhouse,
Wow.
and we had to start out from scratch. I mean, came from outdoor toilets, and you just barely had electricity into a schoolhouse, and we had to learn this thing. So we had to go through. We had to trace out every utility system. Because all the blueprints were clear out of whack. They didn't match what we had there, and I drew them all out by hand, all the electrical system, utility systems, and everything. And then we submitted them to the school board, and they sent them in to have new blueprints made up for the school. And so by going through them, we learned what it took to operate. That we had two coal-fired heating boilers and wood-fired, coal-fired hot water heating boilers. And then we had all the plumbing systems, the gas systems, and all that. And we had to learn that. Now I'm starting the seventh grade now.
Amazing.
And then I got Dad's health kept getting worse and worse. By the time I started the ninth grade, Dad could barely just push a broom around. So it was up to my mom and two sisters and I to do all the janitorial work in the school. Now, we lived in the gym, the janitor's quarters under the gym of the schoolhouse. Now, after Dad died, I slept on a cot in the boiler room, and you had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to scoop a couple of shovels of coal into each one of the heating boilers and the hot water heating boiler to keep them going. and then get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And if there's any snow, you had to be scooped away, get the bus barn, get the buses running and warmed up, and you get ready to get the school open. So I took his job. I'm making $212 a month. I'm supporting my mom and two sisters.
Amazing, amazing. So you became an instant adult. Um, did your relationship with your siblings change? Did they start almost viewing you as like a father figure?
Uh, no, it wasn't. I think it was more of a support thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that was the only income the family had is my $212 a week month paycheck
amazing,
to support them. So, but they helped. My mom and my two sisters helped with as much janitorial work as they could.
amazing. Your dad finally passed. He actually passed away in your arms.
Yes, I was trying to get a nitroglycerin tablet under his tongue, but his
Mm.
mouth was clenched shut. I couldn't. And after I'd hold him in my arms, and then when he died, I just laid him down and in bed, and I got a tremendous headache, and I didn't understand it till years later when I discovered that if you handle nitroglycerin in your bare hands, you get a headache,
Mm.
and that's what caused the headache.
Amazing.
But so Dad died in my arms. I ran and found my mother. She was in the cooking in the hot lunchroom and said, Mom, Dad died. Ran to the boiler room and get shoveling coal into the boilers. And then the life just went on from there.
Amazing. What kept you going? I mean, it was hard. Your dad died, you're poor, you're working hard as a child. You know, when other kids are just going to school, you're going to school and working and
Yes.
cleaning that school. And how did you keep going? What was in you that was it your mom? Was she motivating? Was it your concern for your siblings, your brothers and sisters? Tell us a little bit about
No,
that.
I think I was born at home on a family farm. My first memory was uh, getting hit with ears of corn. When mom and dad would pick corn by hand, they'd take me out to the field with them. They'd set me in the front left corner of the grain wagon, and while they're picking corn by hand and throw it in the wagon, and we had the bang board, the backboard, corn would fly off of that and hit me, and I'd cry, and mom would stop and lift me up and shovel more corn under me. But that was my first memory, get crying from getting hit with ears of corn.
Amazing, amazing. Do you think your youth and your upbringing molded you for life? Obviously it made you a different man. It made you view responsibilities differently, family differently, commitment
Yes.
differently.
On the farm, like I said, life is in your face all the time. Now, yeah, you have to keep animals alive, and the animals are depending on you, and the work had to be done. So it was just the way of life. That's the way it was. You were just incorporated into the family work unit. At any age, my sisters helped me make my bed till I was old enough to do that, and then we uh, helped with all the other work around the house. The first pet I had was a pet deer. The family had a pet deer. We named it Tobacco. He My dad chewed days' work chewing tobacco, and my sisters would cut chunks off of that plug of tobacco, and we feed it to the deer. We call him Tobacco, and it would. The deer was afraid of rain. When it rained, he would come up on the porch and tap, and we'd let him in the house, and we'd play with him in the house. And he loved old-fashioned crinkly Christmas candy. And mom would feed him that, and we'd play. And when the rain stopped, he'd go to the door, went out, and jumped off the porch and down the orchard. But You go out in the orchard, he'd be there with you. And finally, my uncle came out from town with a team of horses, and a stray dog followed him out, and he attacked the deer, tobacco, and he ran away and never did come back.
Amazing, amazing. What was it like writing this book and reliving this episode, this era, this chapters of your life?
It, it, uh, it, it was extremely simple because it's all true, and I just took it, and that's why my writing is connecting events.
Mhm.
So here a person is reading that book. What were they doing when you were 3 years old and you're making your own bed? Hey, it was up to you. You get your clothes to the washing machine on days to wash your clothes, help set the table, whatever you could do. Uh, but the main thing is watching life, uh, animals breeding, giving birth.
Yeah.
I came to mom when I was like 4 years old with a dead baby bird. Said,
Mm.
Mom, and I'm crying. Oh, Mom, dead baby bird. Why did the big bird have to die? And Mom said, soothed me and hugged me and told me, hey, it's okay to cry. And she gave me a significant emotional event in my life. She said, now think about this, Jim. This goes on all the time. Now just think of all the animals that died, relatives of ours. We went to funerals. Uh, we took care of each other, but life has to go on. You can't get frozen by emotions and can't help out. Now, what would happen if there'd been an accident and you could have helped, but you were frozen by emotion and
Mm.
couldn't do it? So at the time of my birth, it was it was a faith-based environment,
Mhm.
logical faith-based environment,
Yeah.
and the economy was cash and carry.
Yeah.
If you bought something, you want something, you just had saved the cash, and when you carried it
Yeah.
out, you had it.
Yeah.
So, and you lived that way of life.
Yeah.
Now, when you were young, you were born, a lot of people helped you change your diaper and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And the way of life was uh, when you got older and the people that took care of you when they could no longer take care of themselves, you took them into your house and you give them the best loving care that you could that they gave you. And when they died, they left what assets they had to you, and it was called hand-me-down generational wealth,
Yeah.
and that just carried on down the line. So,
Amazing. It's an amazing story. We're glad you captured it in this book. It is called Post Hole Digger. It is a powerful memoir that shares the journey of a young boy who became an instant adult at 15 when his father died. It's a story of raw, moving emotions, resilience, family, and courage, and the power to rise above it all. And the quote that will stick to me today came from Jim when he said, "On the farm, life is in your face." And I think that's what makes people who grow up on farms and in rural areas better adapted sometimes to life than others because they see life and death firsthand and they're an integral part of it. Jim, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
uh, uh, that I used I named the book Post Hole Digger because I wanted to connect manual labor, higher education, and big business. Now, if you
Mm.
take post hole digger, it's also known as PhD, higher education. And
Yeah.
I would get calls after I was mature and I would start investing. I'd get calls from brokers, and they would with this deal of the week,
Yeah.
grand deal of the week,
Yeah.
and uh, I would say, I too I have a PhD. My PhD is a post hole digger. Now you go back to that college and you demand all your money back because they taught you 30-year-old information.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. PhD post hole digger. It's the name of the book. It's also a great title. Jim, thank you to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Once again,
Yep.
I was about 6 years old, and I'm trying to connect the dots on this breeding. I mean, you watch animals breed and you watch baby animals born, and I learned from a play date with a neighbor girl that, hey, female humans are built different than the men.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad, I said, now, Dad, all I can see is I see the male take the hardened stem end of his bladder and stick it in the female's pooper, and then after a few months, a baby is born. Now, how does that mother know if she's going to poop or have a litter of pigs or something? And Dad said, "Wait till milking time, and I'll prove it. I'll show you."
That's funny.
Milking time, we got the cows in the barn. He lifted the cow's tail and said, "Jim, look, now this is the cow's pooper. This here's the pee hole, and this is the BB hole, the birthing and breeding hole.
Funny,
And
funny.
this is where the male sticks the semen of his bladder in the BB hole."
Amazing.
And he showed me how the male creates the secret sauce and, and how that creates a child. So at age 6, I went from I was no longer a bashful farm boy,
Yeah.
Jimmy Pope, but I was now Dr. James Pope, OB-GYN.
Amazing.
I could read you the poem that ends the novel to connect that connection.
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Go ahead, Jim. That'd be great.
Okay, it said, okay. My father was a ditch digger, mother a clothes washer lady. They toiled every day, preaching to me that education was the way to big paydays to fulfill your dreams so far away. No matter how I studied, my dreams kept getting further away. Working side by side with Dad and studying at night, my back aching more each day. Thrilled, I finally earned my PhD. It was just a tool to get me out of the hole. Using the PhD kept me above ground where the breezes were cooling, a reward for all that schooling. My dreams were shattered. I felt lower than a beggar when an employee explained that PhD is Home Depot's term for a post hole digger.
Wonderful.
That was the way I ended the book.
Well, I love it. It's a beautiful ending. Jim, thank you so much. And the folks at home, thanks again. I'm Logan Crawford.